Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Time Pass for the New Indian Express. I have with me Shruti Haasan, who can sing, who can create magic on stage. She can act, she can cook, and amazingly well. I've been trying out some of her recipes, which are like completely off the wall. You won't find them anywhere. It's a strange mix of things. And she's the owner of a wonderful cat called Clara, who I unfortunately is not with her right now. I think she's in her Mumbai home. So she's joining us from Hyderabad. And I'm sorry that sounded like a matrimonial ad, but you really are almost perfect. So I want to start off by asking Shruti. You've been in the industry now for I think over a decade. What has been the best thing that has happened to you during this time?
Well, first of all, Kaveree, thank you for having me today. So much, so nice to see you again after so long, digitally,
Yes.
virtually. So your question was, how old do I feel?
Yeah, what's the nicest thing that's happened to you in all these years?
I think that, I've always said that I felt like I wasn't cut out for the kind of smart, quick thinking, schmoozing, talking right, doing the right thing.
Right.
I've just never, I still haven't, after 10 years, understood the trick. The nicest thing I've realized is there are some people who've always stood by me and believed in my talent, and they're here 10 years later. I'm repeating work with some of them. Some of them are my friends. I think the nicest thing is the nice people I've met because of the business.
Yeah, and they're not just anyone. I mean, they're enormous stars, people like Surya and, who really value talent and hard work. What is it that you've learned from some of them? Say Surya or Dhanush, such amazing actors.
There's something different to learn from everybody. Like Surya sir and I have done 2 films, one like right at the start of my career, and then like one right before I took a break almost.
Yeah.
So, that was a run. With Dhanush, I think it was a very unique experience because 3 was that kind of film.
Yes.
And it was much more, I think he had much more of a creative input as well. In Telugu, there's just, I'm like 2 films with the Pavan Kalyan, like touch wood. Like really, really blessed working with people, Mahisa, Allu Arjun, Ram Charan, Bunny, like all of them, and in Tamil as well. But I think I can't tell you particularly that this is the one thing I've learned. What I have learned though is the more successful people are at what they do, the less BS there is around what they want to do. They're very clear. I think the focus of who they are and what they bring is very inspiring.
Right. Shruti, for actors such as you, there's always this enormous conflict, or I think there is, I'm not sure, between artistic choices and, more commercial choices. And I've seen a lot of women and men torn between the two. Has that affected you as well? Have you been conflicted?
I mean, yeah, it has affected, and I'll tell you why. Because in the beginning, I very shamelessly, blatantly went only commercial.
Yeah.
Like I said, I already felt like I was on the fringes, that I was a sort of alternative person to begin with. So my aim was always to like break into mainstream.
Right.
And I knew that if I had the potential to think out of the box, and if I had the ability to reinvent, that the artistic need that is within me cannot be quenched. So that will keep building and reiterating itself. This is the time for me to find that balance. But to be completely honest with you, I didn't have the balance in the past. I was just like, fully in it. Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah, but you enjoyed it. You seem to be doing very well at it. So,
I mean, I really enjoyed it. And then when I felt like I didn't enjoy it that much, I took a step back to reassess.
Right. So now that you've taken a step back, what do you want to do going forward? Because you do have 2 enormous films again, right? You have
Labam.
Yeah, that's right.
And Crack.
Yes, those seem quite big as well, no? Vijay Sethupathi and Ravi Teja, I presume they're enormous films.
Yes, and the thing is, what I like about these Kaveree is they are commercial, but I think I found like the ability to find those voices that are not caricatures of women, but like in a commercial film have a tonality that is relatable.
Yeah.
And I think I've achieved that with these two films in terms of my character.
Right. And it's so interesting because in terms of when you talk of finding one's voice, you found your voice in music so well, you know, truly, because your voice is distinctive, your music is distinctive. It's a little bit of Tamil, sometimes a little bit of English, and it just flows seamlessly. Um, Yet you struggled a bit in cinema. Why was that?
I think I still struggle in cinema because nobody knows how to cast me, Kaveri. It's been a big problem.
Yeah.
I have a Hollywood agent, I have a UK agent. When I did Treadstone as well, they were just like, where is she from? Like, we're really confused. I think it's the demeanor as well as my facial features,
Right.
as well as that I don't look North Indian or South Indian. Like, I love that. I think in
Yeah.
the long run, I like being that sort of indescribable, non-geographical sort of person. But I also felt like in music, especially, I trained in Hindustani Sangeet, which
Yeah.
came with like a discipline and a sort of, tear-up that you need to have as a musician. And then came like my influences studying in LA, being really a part of that culture of different is good.
Right.
Flaws are wonderful,
Yeah.
and that's what makes the music. And I think I found myself in a place which, even though like very few, even now I feel very few things are not motivated by the visual spectacle of it. And I found it very difficult to find my authenticity in a field of work that I had never trained in as well.
Right.
I trained in music. I'd been
Yeah.
on stage.
Yeah.
I'd done my Sangeet practices with students.
Right.
So it felt very natural. I've been on stage since I was 6, but I'd
Exactly.
never acted. Never
Yeah.
acted.
Right.
And I didn't train in it, so I didn't have the jargon or the tools to
Right.
help me come to a decision quicker. So I think that's what it was, really. And I think that I love acting because I feel like I learned in front of a million people, and I improved in front of a million people.
Right.
And now I feel that what I can feel with my fans, which I love, online especially, is
Yeah.
this journey is theirs as well.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't come up as some perfect, promising product. I
Right.
was so flawed, and they saw that, and they saw it being
Yeah.
fixed and glued together. And that is the bond that I share with the people who like me.
I agree with you absolutely. You know, we're so drawn to people who are like us, who are not perfect, you know. But
Oh, I'm the
it's so
furthest thing from perfect.
but it's so rare, Shruti, to find someone in a public space who's so honest. You know, it's very difficult, in fact, to be honest as well. You have so many advisors, I'm sure, managers, PR people telling you, no, no, this is what you have to do. You have to wear this. You have to look this. You have to go to these parties. You have to attend these award shows. I'm sure there are a million
It's
guidelines that
never
you.
that obvious. It's never that obvious like you think.
Huh, right.
It's not. I don't think I'm the kind of personality ever. Even when I
I
was a
would
kid,
ever dare to say it too.
it's not that I was. I'd just be like, no, I
Huh,
don't feel like.
huh,
It's a very subliminal, ephemeral sort of force of
right.
you must belong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't that a tiring thing to be someone else on screen and off screen?
But that was the thing when I'm telling you that I was so bad at the schmoozing is I literally used to say, you're not paying me to act now to like you. I can't do it.
Which must have been a shock to a lot of established people, right?
No, I was never, I wouldn't say I was rude. I was just quiet. And I think quiet is more dangerous than words sometimes.
Yeah, right. But Shruti, you've also been very open about your anxieties. Why did you feel that need? Not everybody wants to admit to the fact that they've had therapy, although I think a lot of people need it and
I
should
get
really
this
go
really
and.
amazing quote, Kavriji, that said half of us are in therapy for the people in our lives who don't go to therapy.
That's true.
And I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
That really works. No, but seriously, why did you feel the need? Was it a lot of young women coming up to you or digitally saying that, you know, this is what we relate to. We are like that, or what was it?
There is something in the beginning of a film, you have disclaimers.
Yeah.
We have not injured animals, or we do not promote tobacco and alcohol. And you still need to do that, right? A person needs to come with certain level of explanation.
Right.
Now, I feel like people also, we don't realize that sometimes the disclaimer of saying, these are my flaws and these are my journeys to strength, not showing up on the first place podium with your muscles flexed is not a journey worth admiring, at least to me. And I felt like I was only aiming to appear like the perfect chiseled Gold Cup holding bodybuilder on the first place podium.
Right.
And I was working so damn hard to do that. And that wasn't me, it wasn't anybody, it was somebody else's version of me. So like I always said, I was starting to live a caricature of myself, where I was starting to become like, those paper dolls you open up and I didn't know which was the center.
Right.
Like literally.
Yeah.
And I realized that this core of anxiety, which is why for me in my life sobriety comes in as well. I like to have a clean life so that my thoughts and I are very much connected.
Right.
Includes isolating. I mean, now isolating sounds like, okay, we know what that means.
Yeah.
The reason I've been okay with lockdown is because I had begun to isolate myself and have alone Shruti time much before.
Right.
That's a part of therapy and healing, is to not avoid the anxiety, but to let it pass through you.
Right.
I've seen that, it's never going to go away. You're always recovering from different versions of anxiety. So if anyone's anticipating that I've been in therapy now and it's going to be fine, like, no, it's not. It's a journey of compassion towards yourself. The reason I felt I should talk about it is literally that disclaimer thing I was saying. I was saying, here I am trying to project an image or some sort of, I don't even know what, like somebody else is holding the pen and drawing for me. And I felt like a part of the honesty to myself was also shattering this sort of fake glass I had constructed between the world and me. And I felt like talking about anxiety might help, because I wished that I had more people talking about it when I was going through it.
Right.
Because like I've said before, this job is a very, very high tension, high anxiety job to begin with.
Yeah.
And then to have no understanding that I'm suffering from anxiety and like shooting my nerves, like rubbing it down to a nub, saying, why am I not good enough? Why am I stressing out? Why am I not balancing this? Why am I substituting things with other things?
Right.
I think this is where it really began, the work of therapy and dealing with my anxiety disorder.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you read a lot? Did you go into therapy? Did you?
Yes.
Yeah. So how did that help you over a period of time? How did you sort of learn who you are actually? And are you now more comfortable with yourself?
I think so. I think you'd say so as well. Like
I would definitely.
Yeah. And it was a process of, you can talk to your friends and family, but they don't have the ability to have an objective perspective beyond the point. And that's where the therapist comes in. And I really want to say to people, the amount of times I've heard, "Main pagal nahi hu, main therapist kyun ja?"
Right.
I mean, I'm saying even educated people, I'm perfectly fine. No one's perfectly fine, honey.
Exactly.
And if you have a fever or a migraine for 4 days, or if you have an ankle that feels like it's sprained, you're going to go to a doctor.
Yeah.
Why then it's baffling to me that you would believe that the mind, just because we can't see it, doesn't need that sort of assistance to rehabilitate.
Absolutely. Speaking of chiseled and perfection, Shruti, you've been open even about your plastic surgery, which is truly, I mean, it's one of the last, outposts of, being secretive and, being sort of shying away from admitting to it. But of course, and I'm sure you've been asked this 1,000 times, that you're already perfect looking. Why would you do something like that?
So I fixed my nose. It was part aesthetic. I would say it was 40% aesthetic.
Right.
It was 60% that I literally couldn't breathe. It was like it was a broken nose, to put it simply. And I also didn't like the aesthetic of it. See, all I'm saying to people is, if you want to fix your face because you are looking at your face in the mirror every morning, do it. If
Yeah.
you don't want to do it, don't do
Don't
it.
do it.
There are phases where I've got, and everyone thinks that like everything is surgery. It's not. There are many non-invasive, like non-permanent procedures that every actress, mind you, has done a little bit of.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone has
And
not.
still,
But they don't
yeah,
like to admit to it, you know?
yeah, they're like, "Nahi, I've lost weight." I'm like, "Sure, okay," but it's fine. I don't judge, and I just felt like in a day and age where everyone's living on Instagram, and those lips are not possible by the hand of God, like I just didn't see the point of being dishonest about it. And my journey is like I said, my flaws have been out on display. Like the exhibit is Shruti Haasan's flaws. Come 2 days only.
No,
I
but I
like
think, yeah. Sorry.
that yes, you saw the process and you saw me reduce them and you saw me put them on in the first place. And today I've come to a happy medium. And tomorrow, if I do a procedure I really like, I'll share it. And I'm not promoting. I'm not telling young girls to do it.
Right.
In fact, I have to admit that it comes from a place of esteem and self-esteem issues to begin with.
Right.
And that is my journey to deal with. So, but I just didn't feel like hiding it. Also, it was very obvious that I had stuff done. So it felt a bit dumb to like hide it.
Well, I won't say how many people are dumb enough to hide it. But let's talk a little about your movies. And it's been interesting to note how you've been part of so many successful Telugu films, Tamil films. What is the kind of adulation that you get? You've been used to a certain level of adulation, seeing your dad, of course, and your
Yeah.
mom. How is it different when you're at the receiving end of it?
I was just telling somebody today that when I get a lot of love, like especially when I meet some of my fans one on one,
Right.
and I know most of them from the online community.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that really just wants to cry, Kaveri ji, because I just don't know what to do with this much love. Like
Right.
it's overwhelming in a very beautiful way,
Yeah.
And I feel like, that we do work for that applause. I think the reason I became a singer is one is this cartoon I used to watch as a kid, and I was like, I like her job, And the second is, I remember I was singing for my father's show in Singapore, and I was all of 6 years old. And it was the feeling I had when I finished singing well, performing, and that sound of the cheer, which was for me. It was just something that I loved it, and it wasn't the vanity of it. It was the ability to instantly within 6 minutes connect with people on that level.
Wow. So that it's like an addiction in a good way.
It's not like an addiction because it doesn't come frequently.
Right.
You
have to really earn it.
There's no way you can just go, you can go like, buy chocolate cakes and eat it if you're a foodaholic. There's no way to buy this applause, which feels genuine. That genuine praise is actually, the adulation will be there, the fame will be there, but that genuine praise or that kind of feeling of artistic connect is very rare. So therefore, it's not like a drug. It's more like, something organic. Yeah.
What was the last movie that you did where you felt your audience is truly connected to you and you felt that pure love?
I think the last film in Telugu, one of the last films in Telugu was Srimantru, which people really, really liked.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was it about it, you think?
I think that I loved the director that I worked with, Shiva Kautala. Like he's a writer as well for many, many years. So when a writer directs, the energy is like, it's a bit more magical, And I would say the permutation and combination of traits that he gave that woman of modernity and tradition was so beautifully crafted that it resonated across the board with so many men and women. So, and across age groups as well. So I think that was something that really resonated with me.
You began your journey with Hindi films, and I remember Imran, I think, is a friend of yours, and
he's my Rafi brother.
Yeah, I know, and he speaks, in fact, very highly of you. I remember when Luck was released, I think that was his second film and your first film. And he'd, of course, just come from Jaane Tu Jaane Na, which was an enormous.
I know. It was insane at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. And you had a very difficult role. You had two parts to play, right?
Honestly, Kaveri, there was nothing difficult about it because I did not know what on earth I was doing. I can say today it's been 10 years and I managed to like stick around. I had no clue. I was like, huh? A for apple. Like it was very bad. I see it now. But the only thing that was good in that movie was my individual Azma Lak song because I was in my element. I had sung the song. I was like, I'm ready to be a rock and roll, like, whatever. But the movie in itself, I thought, I know this because I've been on movie sets my whole life.
Yeah.
I know this. So I was comfortable with the camera and stuff.
Right.
But I didn't know the air back thing. I didn't know. And I had spent my whole life covering up emotions and using only music as an outlet.
Right.
So when I had to be in front of the camera, it took me years, even as an actor, to remove the personal walls that I had built. Right. I was always, as a kid, like, I want to be unreadable. I want to be unreadable, which is like the worst thing I could have done to myself. Had I known then that one day I might act, because I had no plans of acting either.
Right.
I mean, acting was it just happened to me by mistake, but I say it's the best mistake of my life.
Yeah. And also, you went on to do some interesting Bollywood films, some very big hits. Welcome Back, and which were, I suppose, mad in their way, fun in their way. But
yeah,
did you enjoy? You must have enjoyed the process. But
see, when you're doing a Welcome Back, you cannot try to get into the process. Okay, the trick there is to leave stuff behind and get into that sort of energy of fun and slapstick. And I love comedy. I love extreme, intense, high, messed up stuff. And then I love comedy, straight up nonsensical comedy.
Nothing in between.
The in-between is hard for me, even as a person. You can ask my friends, I'm never just, it's chill. It's like, I love it. I hate it. Like,
So did you love or did you hate Mumbai movies? And what's your take on it now?
I'm sorry, did I love or did I?
Mumbai movies, making movies in Mumbai.
See, I love Mumbai as a city. I feel very connected. I'm more connected to speaking Hindi and all because my mom was speaking to me in Hindi every day. I actually learned Tamil later in my life, which nobody would believe. Yeah. I mean, I knew the basic Tamil because I was born and brought up in Chennai. But, we were all like, oh, I speak English and it's so cool. And then, so I feel that I still haven't figured out Bombay. There's a rhythm which I always feel like they're doing the waltz and I'm doing the tango, But we've had certain steps that have synchronized like a DJ, which I love very much. In fact, I really liked my experience on Beno Githeri as well, like working with someone like Rajkumar Rao, like he was really dedicated to his work. I also enjoyed the Welcome Back. So I'm one of those people who go in and kind of just enjoy stuff because I'm not a whiner. I'm like, like we're here.
Right.
But I do feel like we speak different languages sometimes. And I don't mean Hindi and Tamil. I literally mean more metaphysically.
Right.
And I'm really interested to see when we can start understanding each other.
I think it's going to happen for you in streaming. I have a hunch that you're going to be an even bigger star on streaming. I don't know why, but I hope I'm right. But do you see... Very well put. But do you get a lot of offers to do streaming series? Are you considering
but I haven't been like super sold. The thing is also, I think the standard of what a woman's character can be is so high in my head now.
Exactly.
I mean, I saw Gillian Anderson in The Fall and I was like, I can't wait to be in my 40s.
Yeah. I mean, they seem to be getting all the great parts. Look at Big Little Lies. Look at, Little Fires Everywhere.
Yeah.
That kind of work.
Again.
Amazing. I think she's of course, a genius. But, that kind of comedy where so much is left unsaid. And yet it's comedy as well as so profound.
And as well as just like, that's what it is. I'm just like, I'm not very picky, contrary to belief. It's just that it has to snap in place for me, you know.
Right.
And I'm very excited because I'm a major propagator of like, let's all sit at home and binge watch stuff, you know. So I'd love to. I mean, for me, my experience on that has only been through Treadstone, but I'm a guest role in it.
Yeah.
So,
but it's a recurring role.
Yes.
Yeah. What was that like? Because again, it's one of those global series. You know, you have new countries almost every 3
There was a
episodes.
lot of plot lines.
Yeah, and of course you have a huge star in Jeremy Irvine. I think and he's very interesting. He's an interesting star. So what is it like? What is it like auditioning in the West, and what is it like finally landing a big role?
When I was first, the thing that still like really gets me nervous is auditions. I just can't for the life of me understand them. I had a problem with them even when I was singing because I'd be like, "Aapko kaise pata hai ki main act? You know, what is this parameters? I don't know how you want me to sing this song. I can't." You know, it was the same thing with music and even with acting. I found auditions really hard because I never auditioned before. First of all. And I'm one of those people who loves being on the energy of a set or the energy of a rehearsal or the energy, you know what I mean? And this me, like sitting here and like doing it was always difficult. So by the time I got to the Treadstone audition, I had done about 10, 15 auditions and like really found a little bit of my way. And I still am. I'm still like I just wish I could call the director, but then they don't even know who will direct which episode. Like it's just it's such a weird world. It's different. But I very much love it. Treadstone was an audition I did, like I ran and I did like before a music rehearsal and I kind of understood the vibe. And you know, look at the irony, expressionless assassin who you can't read. Like, of course.
Perfect. Perfect for you. But you know, I want to go back a little to what you said before. That really now we're in a world where all of us look multicultural, and increasingly it'll be so. You can't really tell a person's origins from their face.
Isn't that wonderful?
Of course it is.
I think being able to tell and not being able to tell, both of them have like a very powerful beauty.
Yeah, and the fact that, you know, today you could play someone with the last name of Patel, tomorrow it could be Sanchez or could be anything. And
why Kaveree ji, my own name, people don't know the origin of it. Half the people don't know how to say it and it doesn't even matter.
Exactly. So I think this is a great time to be an actor on the global stage, isn't it? And increasingly, I think you've seen with the success of so many people, not just an Irfan or, you know, an Anupam Kher, but people are doing so well. And Irfan, unfortunately, of course.
I know.
Do you see that as a possibility? And then you can sing as well. So, I mean,
no, actually, my focus is first on the music, which is what I do. I do all these gigs in London. I have management in England, but I'm doing stuff with music. And in music, they're like, "Oh, great, you're a Bollywood star, lovely." And then we're like, "No, so like, come and like graft and start." And I wanted to start from the ground up. It's easy to go Bollywood person. Let's fit it into this box. Maybe do a little bit of this, and they'll be happy. Like, no. That's not what I am. I grew up loving Kurt Cobain and there's Hindustani classical music and I love the Prodigy and I needed to bring these elements in. Tori Amos and Trent Reznor and like that is what I grew up listening to with the flavor of India, which really is just the tadka, not the dal itself, you know. So for me, the journey has been amazing as a musician to be able to go and gig at these wonderful venues, connect with the Indians there, as well as an audience that completely doesn't know and have no preconceived notions about me. That to me has been liberating. Yeah, that's been so liberating.
Right. May I ask you to sing a little of Bare Naked, because I really like that song. I think there's something very haunting about it, just a little. I know it's quite difficult to sing without an accompaniment and all that. And you have a great piano player in that I've seen. Is it possible for you to sing a little of it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Won't you say it, say it, please say it one time just for me. Vama, yenna solla pore. There you go.
Lovely. I think even people who don't understand the language will just relate.
But that's the idea of the song, actually.
It is, isn't it? So in a way, I think Shruti, like this lockdown, has caught up with you. It seems to have been in sync with you. You were anyway in the process of
I mean, it doesn't make it easy, but it makes it, yeah. I mean,
yeah. So is the world slowly catching up with the real Shruti Haasan?
You know what? That's such an interesting question because that's what it seems like. There's all these new people saying, we did not have like, really? This is the same stuff I've been doing for a long time, you know? I think people now, so here's the thing. I have been a person who loves social media and connecting. If I see some comment with your hashtag, I will go exploring because I'm a nerd by nature, I think. Like more information, you know? And for someone like me, I learned how to do makeup because of social media. I learned how to do cooking because of social media. I learned all these tips and tricks and all of that because I'd just be digging on new music or alternative subcultures. That's how you get into it, right? And I have had that naturally. So now I've realized that basically what happens is it's like we've all been locked inside of the high school and the cool kids have got to pay attention to the backbenchers.
Truly. Which reminds me, have you seen Never Have I Ever?
Yes, I have.
I just love that. I think there's something so lovely about that experience of.
So because I know Purna, who's on the show through a friend.
Oh.
And so
she's amazing.
She was so fantastic in it. Because of my friend Norm and Jazz, there's that connection. And they were like, will you come join an Instagram party or something for the launch? And I was like, this is really random. But it was great. And then I said, okay, now let me watch the show. And I really, really loved it. I thought it's amazing. I thought...
Which, talking about Purna's career, for instance, look at her now. She plays colorblind characters. I mean, she could one day be a Tamilian mother, another day in Defending Jacob, for instance. She's playing a therapist who's has a Western last name. So it's interesting that she could again be from anywhere.
I think she's really inspiring because we remember her from what she did here, and then she was like
Delhi Belly, of course.
And then it was like, where did she go? And then this. And this is so organic and natural the way she's done it. And I like the way she carries herself in general. It's very positive.
Absolutely. I think
because you don't want to be like flag waving anything, you know. So it's like easy.
Right. So let's talk a little about your cooking. I'm a little fascinated by it because, again, it reflects to me the kind of person you seem to be, who's at ease everywhere and maybe also not at ease anywhere particularly, but at ease everywhere. And a little bit of this culture, a little bit of that culture. It's such an interesting amalgam. And I find your cooking, again, is a lot like that. So can you just walk me through this process of how you make something like a bowl of noodles, a bowl of Maggi? You can see that I'm quite a foodie. A bowl of Maggi looks so interesting.
Because it's turned into ramen. So I'm a major foodie, and I love experimenting with different cuisines. I've also been vegan for a while, which was awful. I would not recommend it unless you really are principled. I just couldn't be vegan, Kaveree ji. I was just kill me.
I would agree.
I mean, I really love my friends who have the principles to stick by it, but I don't have those food principles, unfortunately. You know, I mean, I'm okay with a bit of chicken. So, I mean, and for me, my all-time favorite cuisine is Tamil food, South Indian food.
Right.
And I loved the reason I started cooking is when I went to America, I would literally have dreams about eating sambar. And I remember ordering $20 idli from Surya's, which was on the other end of LA.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, oh, this is ridiculous. I need to learn how to cook.
Right.
When I got back, I slowly started learning how to cook. And then it just became a hobby and I started cooking for my friends. And then when I went to England, I have a place in London as well. I was really fascinated by just, different things in England that I tasted and liked, and I wanted to make it. So usually I'll eat something and say, I want to learn how to make it.
Right.
That's just the way I am. Yeah.
Right.
So if it's like mochi ice cream, then the next day would go to Chinatown and buy the rice flour and learn how to make mochi.
Yeah. I really want to examine your larder. It has such interesting things in it. Whenever you
it's like, what does this woman cook? Because there's so much random shit here. Yeah.
And talking about your fitness, when you do the hula hoop, it's amazing. But that's a major part of you as well, to be healthy physically as well.
So before this, I was working out with the vanity perspective of I need to look fit and
right.
I need to. But because of my troubles with hormonal imbalance,
right,
and also my struggles with anxiety, exercising is the only way for me to instantly center myself and expel unwanted energy, as well as keep recalibrating my physical system. So I today work out. I mean, it feels good to look healthy for sure, but it's not about that as much as it's about what it does for me internally.
Right. So on this journey, Shruti, when you look back at, or when, sometimes you sit with your dad or your mom separately or together, do you sometimes talk? I thought as much, but you never know. But do you sometimes talk to them about what it was like for them when they were sort of in the same position, or is it more emotional stuff?
My dad is a major storyteller even in real life. Everything is a Kamal Haasan production. So even the most mundane of stories are just absolutely wonderful to listen to. And the times in which he and my mom worked, I feel that they were more free than we ever are. And I feel like their ability and fearlessness to experiment or express their opinion or make even, like my dad and mom saying, no, we're going to have Shruti and this is how we're going to do it. I don't see that level of courage and openness in 2020. I don't. It's so much driven by the projections and expectations. So when I hear their stories, what I always take away from it is courage of all kinds, artistic, emotional.
Absolutely. Yeah. And your mom especially has always struck me as being someone who's lived so much by her
both of them
terms.
Are just like my drum, my beat, my dance.
Exactly. So it's no wonder that you turned out like this. I hope they're proud of you and your sister.
I hope so too. Yeah.
Do they sometimes tell you, are they cheesy like that or no?
No.
They're not cheesy parents.
No, and especially my dad is a very Tamilian dad. He's like, "Bahut bolenge to bigad jayegi," So.
But your mom is still such an amazing artist at this age, and I feel that she needs to do much more work. I don't know why she doesn't do more work.
You should tell her.
Can you please tell her?
I will also tell her. You also tell her.
Yeah, because I think she is one of the finest actors we have.
Yes.
What I'd love to see is both of you together in a film or a series.
There
has to be someone out there who wants to cast both of you.
Exactly. It has to be very not just for the sake of a casting.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just a gimmick. That it's
exactly not just a gimmick. Exactly.
What about your sister's journey? That's also been interesting. You want to talk a little about that? How have you been giving her tips? Does she take your advice?
I don't give her tips. I think like her whole approach from the beginning, even choosing Shamata as her first film, that looked everything. It's amazing, that she was like, this is how I'm going to do it. And also to be under the guidance of someone like Balki sir, very nice, like an incredible star.
Right.
And really, Akshara has much more of a vibe of going with with her own flow and rhythm. Probably she gets that from mom, really,
Yeah.
of not living in other people's timelines. And I really appreciate that. She does things on her own terms, and she always bring. I think she has a very beautiful face, and by that I mean not the green eyes alone, or the,
Yeah.
I feel she has Papa's expressive face. So
Yeah.
I, as a sister, love watching her on the screen.
Right. Right. And Shruti, can we let you go after? But after you sing one more song, please, just a little
Which
bit.
one?
Some. What about Skin?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I like that too. Or if you
Thank
want to
you.
sing a Tamil song, I think maybe our audience would like that. I'm not sure which one. You would know better.
Uh, okay, I'll sing one of mine from a movie I did music for. Sure.
Please, please do.
Okay.
Which one is it?
It's called Vanam Ellai
Uh-huh.
from a film called Unnai Polorvan.
Excellent. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
வானம் எல்லை என்பது இன்றில்லை நாளை என்று தனி ஒரு நிலையிலை என்றும். There you go.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Shruti, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Please remain your authentic self. Don't
Thank
let
you.
anyone change you.
I think it's a
And
bit late now. I'm in my 30s. It's done.
don't say that. I'm much older than you and I'm still trying to
I
evolve.
can't tell you, I want to tell women this. Turning 30 has been the best thing that happened to me.
Right.
And now I can't wait to turn 40. Can't wait to turn like into this sexy 50-year-old. It's like people just need to stop freaking about like age. It's ridiculous how amazing life gets as you get older.
Absolutely. And I think the opportunities, many more, you come into your own and you radiate that confidence and assurance of being who you are. And I think there's nothing more beautiful than seeing a woman or a man who's sure of who they are, but not pompous about it,
Yes.
who doesn't take themselves too seriously. Don't you
No.
find that sometimes that even your
It's
dad
it's
doesn't take
migraine
himself.
inducing if someone is too serious.
Yeah, even your dad, he's accomplished so much. I saw him recently speaking. He was speaking at a function where I was. He doesn't take himself seriously.
No.
He
He's very
laughs at.
humble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but he can laugh at himself also, which is quite
He
something.
also turns everything into humor, which I would suggest is the best thing for everybody in life. If you can
Yeah.
joke about your misery, if you can joke about your mistakes,
Yeah,
I think you're pretty much set for a good life.
great. Thank you so much for being with us. All the very best. I
Thank you
wish
for
you
having me.
many more movies, many more, much more music, and I think you're going to do even better than you have done so far. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you so much.